Fifth Avenue, known as Millionaire's Row, is a prestigious street in New York City, home to the wealthy and influential. However, beneath its glamour lies a chilling past. On March 9, 1947, Langley Collier, a 61-year-old wealthy engineer and pianist, left his mansion on Fifth Avenue to acquire something for his bedridden brother, Homer. This sets the stage for a mysterious and intriguing story. Langley, in his patched-up wool coat, ventured out in the freezing night for anonymity and safety. He scavenged through dumpsters in Brooklyn, quickly packing needed items into his bag before heading home. On March 21st, a call came to the local police station near the Collier Brothers' residence. Charles Smith, speaking in a gruff voice, claimed there was a dead body inside their mansion. The sergeant approached the tip with skepticism, considering the brothers' eccentric reputation and reclusive nature. Over time, people had grown wary of the Collier brothers, often reporting rumors to the police, which usually turned out to be false. Given this history, the sergeant questioned Charles Smith, asking how he knew about the dead body inside the mansion. However, the caller remained silent and abruptly hung up. Considering the credibility of the tip uncertain, the sergeant decided not to send an entire investigative team to the mansion. Instead, he assigned a single police officer to conduct a wellness check on the Collier brothers when time allowed. The police officer arrived at the run-down Collier brothers mansion later that day. The grandeur of the brownstone mansion was overshadowed by boarded-up windows, shattered glass, and newspapers hastily stuffed into the broken panes. The front of the property was cluttered with furniture, crates, and miscellaneous items, giving it a neglected appearance. The police officer was taken aback by the state of the mansion. The Collier family was far from ordinary, with their father preserving body parts in glass jars and commuting to work by canoe. Langley and Homer's mother, their father's first cousin, had expelled him when he tried to convert the house into a tuberculosis sanatorium. The Collier brothers grew up in an unusual family, inheriting eccentricities of their own. Homer, the older brother, was accepted to study law at Columbia University at a young age. Langley, his younger brother, graduated from Columbia with degrees in engineering and chemistry, and was also a talented musician. Despite their achievements and wealth, neither brother ever married. Following the deaths of their parents, the Collier brothers became reclusive within their mansion. Homer suffered a stroke, resulting in blindness and the abandonment of his law practice. Langley gave up his musical pursuits to care for his brother. They neglected to pay their bills, leading to the disconnection of utilities. Langley improvised by converting a Model T car engine into a generator. Facing eviction, Langley purchased the mansion outright. On March 21, 1947, a police officer attempted to enter the mansion but was blocked by a large wall. Detecting a foul odor, he called for backup. Officers found Homer's lifeless body in a tattered bathrobe, seated in an alcove with orange peels scattered around him. The coroner estimated that Homer had been dead for approximately 10 hours. Despite an extensive search, Langley Collier remained missing, leaving no trace behind. The police grew suspicious of his absence and considered the possibility that he may have been involved in his brother's death. To increase the chances of capturing Langley, an officer was stationed at the mansion, and a 9-state alarm was issued, alerting law enforcement to be on the lookout for him. Detectives searched for Langley across the East Coast, but their efforts were in vain. Inside the mansion, New York detectives continued their investigation, hoping to find clues about Langley's whereabouts and potential involvement in Homer's death. On April 8, 1947, a significant clue emerged. A peculiar wall made of discarded items obstructed access to the mansion. It was a wall constructed from trash. Upon searching the Collier brothers' mansion, the police discovered a house covered in trash and filled with unusual items, including broken pianos, an X-ray machine, and a collection of 25,000 books. They also found glass jars containing human body parts, remnants of their father's collection. The mansion was transformed into a labyrinth of tunnels lined with booby traps. During the search, a crucial clue was found in one of the tunnels, shedding light on what had transpired between Homer and Langley. Langley had been scavenging for oranges believing they could cure Homer's blindness. He had been feeding Homer only oranges obtained from a dumpster. While crawling through a tunnel, Langley accidentally dislodged a box, causing a cascade that trapped him beneath the weight. In a desperate situation, Langley likely called out for Homer, who was unable to assist due to his blindness and weakened state. Langley cried out for help until the weight of the boxes eventually crushed him to death. Left alone in the house, Homer sat in his chair, slowly starving to death while rats fed on his brother's remains. The police discovered Langley's remains near Homer's after 18 days of searching. Charles Smith, the tipster, was a real person who stumbled upon the scene and reported the odor. The mansion was eventually demolished due to safety concerns, and the Collier Brothers park now stands in its place as a reminder of their tragic tale. Langley carefully made his way through the cluttered mansion to reach Homer on the second floor. He had constructed a treacherous tunnel filled with booby traps, including a narrow passage lined with stacked metal boxes. The leading theory is that Langley brought oranges back to Homer, believing they could cure his blindness. Homer consumed the oranges, trusting in Langley's discovery. However, the hazardous conditions and booby traps in the mansion likely led to Langley triggering one of the traps while maneuvering through the tunnel, resulting in a fatal accident. This theory explains Langley's disappearance and Homer's demise. This breakthrough in the investigation shed light on the tragic fate of the Collier brothers, providing a possible explanation for their mysterious and reclusive lives within the cluttered confines of their mansion. Langley had traversed the treacherous tunnel through the trash countless times to visit his brother Homer every day. However, on this particular day, as he crawled through the narrow tunnel, he accidentally dislodged the lowest metal box, causing a cascade of boxes to fall upon him, pinning him to the ground. Although the boxes were heavy, they were not enough to cause immediate death. Instead, they trapped Langley, making it impossible for him to free himself. In his desperate situation, Langley likely called out for Homer, who was only a few feet away. However, Homer, being blind, weak, and malnourished from his orange-only diet, was unable to assist his trapped brother. For several agonizing hours, Langley likely cried out for help until the weight of the boxes eventually crushed him to death. Left alone in the house, Homer was isolated and helpless. No one knew of his dire situation, and even if they did, they would have struggled to reach him. Over 2 weeks, Homer sat in his chair, slowly starving to death, while forced to listen to the sound of rats feeding on his brother's remains. The breakthrough in the case came when the police discovered Langley's white foot bone protruding from the trash tunnel, just 10 feet away from where Homer sat. During the initial search of the mansion, Langley's remains went unnoticed amidst the clutter. It took 18 days for the police to discover his body, close to his brother, Homer. The tipster, Charles Smith, turned out to be a real person who reported the putrid odor he had noticed near the mansion. Langley had already passed away when the tip came in, ruling him out as the caller. Due to the hazardous condition of the mansion, it was eventually demolished and replaced with a small park called the Collier Brothers Park. The park serves as a reminder of the tragic tale of the Collier brothers.